Mr. Jonathan Reed was known as one of the coldest businessmen in Chicago. At 68 years old, he owned hospitals, real estate, and investment firms worth millions. People respected him, but no one truly liked him. Jonathan didn't trust anyone. Years ago, a man he once called a friend stole millions from his company and vanished. That betrayal changed him forever. From that day on, Jonathan believed one thing very clearly. Given the chance, everyone would choose money over honesty. To prove this belief, he developed a habit. Every few months, he tested his employees. That morning, Jonathan placed a gold Rolex watch on his office desk. It was worth more than $25,000. Then he left his office door slightly open and pretended to take a phone call in the hallway. Anyone who touched the watch would be fired immediately. He stood quietly outside, watching through the glass. That's when Maria Lopez entered the office. Maria was a janitor in her early 30s, a single mother who worked 2 jobs just to survive. Her husband had died 3 years earlier, leaving her alone with their 8-year-old son, Daniel. That day, Daniel's school was closed because of a gas leak. Maria had no one to leave him with, so she brought him to work, praying no one would notice. "Stay close to the wall," she whispered to him. "Don't touch anything. This job keeps us fed." Daniel nodded quietly. As Maria cleaned the office, Daniel noticed something shining on the desk. He stared at the watch, his eyes wide. "Mom," he whispered, tugging her sleeve, "is that real gold?" Maria followed his gaze and froze. Her heart started pounding. That watch could pay their rent, buy groceries, fix Daniel's worn-out shoes. For just a moment, her hand moved slightly toward the desk. Outside the office, Jonathan Reed smiled. There it is, he thought. Everyone breaks. But before Maria touched the watch, Daniel spoke again. "Mom, don't." She turned to him. "Dad used to say," Daniel continued softly, "if we take something that isn't ours, we lose something inside us that we can never get back." Maria's eyes filled with tears. She stepped away from the desk. "You're right," she whispered. "I'm proud of you." They finished cleaning and turned to leave. As Daniel walked toward the door, he noticed a framed photograph on the wall. It was crooked. He stopped. Carefully, he straightened the frame. Then he pulled a small piece of paper from his pocket and placed it gently underneath. Maria panicked. "Daniel," she whispered urgently, "what did you do?" "I just left him something." Daniel replied. They left the office quickly. Jonathan returned inside. The watch was still there, untouched. His smile faded. Then he noticed the note. It was written in uneven, childlike handwriting. "Sir, my mom cleans your office. She works very hard. Please don't fire her if she makes mistakes. She's trying her best, Daniel." Jonathan felt a tight knot in his chest. No one had ever asked him for kindness before. Only money, only favors, only fear. The next morning, Jonathan called Maria into his office. She was shaking. "I know," she said quickly. "I'll quit. Please don't blacklist me." Jonathan picked up the watch and held it in his hand. "Why didn't you take it?" he asked. Maria took a deep breath. "Because my son was watching." Jonathan paused. "And if he wasn't?" he asked. Maria looked him straight in the eyes. "Then I still would have known." Jonathan leaned back in his chair. "For years," he said slowly, "I tested people to prove they were greedy." He stood up and walked toward her. "But your son tested me." He handed her an envelope. Inside was $10,000. "For your honesty," he said. Maria broke down in tears. Weeks later, Jonathan changed. He started a scholarship fund called Daniel's Promise. He raised employee wages. He stopped testing people. And every morning, a child's handwritten note sat on his desk, reminding him that true wealth isn't measured by what we take, but by what we refuse to take. Sometimes the poorest people carry the richest values, and sometimes a child teaches a billionaire how to be human again.